Yes. 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 You see, I would bring a cigarette or a freaking cigar, but I don't know if that would get me in trouble with YouTube, so I'm not going to do that. But you already know we're smoking that Ted Phillips pack real good, and I don't even smoke. Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Breaking news, Bear fans around the world. We thought last year, at the end of last year, or at the start of this year, in 2022, the start of this year, 2022, we got the announcement that Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace were being fired. That was a great way to start off the new year in 2022. And now we're ending off this year, 2022, with even better news. We start off good, and we end off good. Now, obviously, the team's play hasn't been good, I digress. But we know where the Bears are building to the future. But what I'm saying is, in terms of the hierarchy of power in the organization, the behind the scenes, the GM, an incompetent GM, an incompetent head coach at his position, fired, gone at the start of the year. Good riddance. I don't miss them one bit. Happy about that. We start the year off to that news. Then we end off 2022 with more groundbreaking news, which is kiss. Nice little freaking cherry on top in terms of Bears management hierarchy. We get the revelation news finally after 39 fucking years. Ted Phillips has been relieved of his duties. Well, I wouldn't say relieved of his duties. He's retiring, to say the least. It's about time. It is about time that, my goodness, man, this man is finally gone. This dude is finally freaking gone. Bear fans, rejoice. I can tell you not why. This is actually groundbreaking. Some of the best news in Bears history. This, alongside the Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace Day, is one of the many days in Chicago Bears history that is the greatest day ever. I'll talk about the candidate Kevin Warren in a second. But Ted Phillips finally retiring, finally getting away from this team, makes this one of the best days in Chicago Bears history. Because finally, after 39 long years, the Bears don't have to deal with an incompetent dude at the CEO/team president position. Over his 39 freaking years of being the Bears team president. Well, 39 years in the franchise. Actually, if you count it, this article was back in 2021, 2022, and only 22 seasons. 22 seasons. 39 years total in the franchise. 22 years as the CEO and the team president of the Chicago Bears. They only made the playoffs 6 times in his tenure as CEO and team president of the Chicago Bears. If that does not scream mediocrity at its finest, I don't know what that tells you. 6 times, no Super Bowl championships. Team was mediocre for decades under his watch. People say, oh, he had no say in the team. Oh, he had a damn say in the fucking team. Now, I wasn't a Bears fan as long as say my Uncle Daryl, who's always on my videos, as well as my dad. And yeah, I want to go back and also some point go back in the annals of history, research the entire Chicago Bears history and everything. But it's absolutely freaking insane and crazy that this dude was running wild for 39 years in this organization. 21 years as the team president of the team and the CEO of the team. And he only made 6 appearances in the playoffs. That shit in other organizations gets you fired. But you know the reason why he didn't get fired? Because he was little bubble buddies with George McCaskey and the McCaskey family as a whole, but mostly George. This goes to show you that the Bears have been operating their organization as if it's a family business, a family diner. You can throw all the frickin', type of comparisons to something. Family diner, the family diner thing, a family, a long family line fast food restaurant place. A frickin' family car-owned shopping place. A family retail store. You name it. These people in power in the Chicago Bears organization don't treat people maniacally. They don't like being called out for their transgressions. They don't like being called wrong. They try to do this, well, you see, it wasn't really his fault. It's okay. The little brother didn't mess up. It's all right. You make mistakes. They treat it like that. They treat it like a family-owned type of business where, okay, you made a little mistake. It's all right. It's good. Well, we can rebound. Well, guess what? It's not like that in the NFL. In the NFL, you make mistakes constant over and over again. You do not rebound. You become mediocre. You become bad. You become a disgrace in the organization. And this NFL team being the charter franchise of the league, absolutely being mediocre is asinine. Ted Phillips was one of the main culprits of this issue, this problem that is the Chicago Bears. Like I said, it isn't the main reason. He's one of the main reasons, actually. He actually is one of the main reasons. So him getting the fuck out of here for good, and he can actually go sit on his couch in his home and just retire and stay there. That's actually pretty big. Obviously, the main culprits are the McCaskeys running the business. That will probably be the greatest day in Chicago Bears history. That the McCaskeys are coming out announcing that they will sell the team finally. If that ever comes to happen at some point, hopefully it does in my lifetime, because I would like to see that, and I will come on here again and say the Bears are making a great decision. But you see, this is absolutely groundbreaking news. Pretty damn great news, because this gets one of the massive problems of the organization out of power. He's not running the show. He has no say over hiring decisions, over football personnel decisions, as much as many people try to say, oh, he has one isn't involved in football. No, he was. He was the team president for a reason, ladies and gentlemen. So you take all that away, he retires, he sits on his couch. So George McCaskey has no more buddies, no more friends. The only friends he's got up in there is probably his family that are still left in the organization. And this is what I'm talking about. You need to get these people, these accountants, up out of the building and get them out. Tell them to either retire or kick rocks or we'll fire you. Because you can't be a family business if you're in the league trying to win a championship. And we see how Matt Eberflus is creating a different culture. Justin Fields had a press conference, just yesterday. He said the one takeaway he could say he liked a lot from this season was a change in culture compared to last year to this year. And you could tell he meant that, because you could see last year he wasn't as happy last year under Matt Nagy's culture and Matt Eberflus' culture. Even though they're 3-12, guess what? He said in the press conference, guys are still happy to come to work. You know, we're looking to get better every single day. And guess what? That attests to the culture that is being built by Matt Eberflus and his staff. If there's anything positive we can get out of Eberflus, is he changed the freaking culture. And I know there's some Bear fans, some stupid Bear fans, that want the guy to be fired. You can question his decision-making on certain decisions, certain calls, whether it's to kick a field goal, certain terms where he has to maybe, he's not overriding the play calling and telling Luke Getsy, maybe you need to do this. But the one thing we can say is this. The one thing Bear fans would say, we should get him out of here. You can say, well, he changed the fucking culture. Don't you remember how bad the culture was under Matt Nagy? Don't you remember how bad? That was what Nathaniel Hackett did in Denver a few days ago. Guess what? That was the culture Matt Nagy had in an accumulation of 4 or 5 years of coaching the Bears. Eberflus came in, changed that culture. Simple as that. Ryan Poles, yes, he got us more draft picks, but he got some of the players from the past regime out of here. Because guess what? They were some of the main culprits of how the bad culture was. Simple as that. I don't know where it's going to go. I don't know. We're going to have to wait. It's always this wait and see approach to see. But we could be looking at 2022 being the year where the Bears finally change shit around and they actually become a team that is respectable for years, and they are out there competing for playoff appearances, out there competing for hopefully for the rest of my lifetime, Super Bowl champions, and they're competitive at doing that. They got the quarterback in place. And that's a start. You got Justin Fields in place. That's a start. Now it's time to weeding out all these losers. Ted Phillips is now gone. Our first it was Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace. They're gone. Now Ted Phillips is gone at the end of this year. Jesus, man. If they could fire George McCaskey and get his ass out of the building too, I'd even be like, oh, now that we're throwing a party up in here. But this is what I'm saying. So far, the steps and moves the Bears are making, I like where the direction's going. Now, obviously, for CEO and team president, I would hope the Bears go in the direction of hiring a football mind. A football mind. The reason why I say this is this. You had an accountant running the show for 39 years. An accountant running the show, 39 years, all this power. And look what that got him. 6 playoff appearances, only 1 Super Bowl, no championships. Pathetic resume. Get somebody in here that knows fucking football, who has football background experience, who knows the game of football. Simple as that. It isn't that hard to figure it out. It isn't that hard. And that's the crazy thing. Get people who know what the hell the sport of football is. Because you want to know why? Because if Poles and Eberflus fail at their jobs and they end up getting fired, well, guess who's the next guy in line to make hiring decisions based on football decisions? The team president. You want a football-minded team president so you can be like, okay, that's a football guy who can be our GM. This is a football guy that can be our head coach. Or give the GM an idea. That's a football guy that I would like to see brought in and potentially be interviewed. Well, they can work alongside the GM, you know? And it'll be that whole hierarchy of power. Team president's right there. GM reports to team president. Coach works for the GM. Coach works to, coach goes up to the GM, relays information. Simple as that. Simple organization things. And speaking of candidates, actually, there is a candidate out there in terms of the Bears, in terms of their new CEO and team president solution or opening. And that is Kevin Warren. Now, if you don't know who Kevin Warren is, Kevin Warren right now is currently the Big Ten commissioner. He's the Big Ten Conference commissioner. And he's been that since 2020. Now, I'm looking at his career history as an executive. In 1997 to 1999, he was St. Louis Rams or LA Rams, whatever, vice president of player programs and football legal counsel. In 2000, he ended up becoming vice president of football administration. Here's one thing, just those 2 points alone. Football. Now, the first one's more about. The first one was about player programs and football legal counsel. So it's obviously had some background with some legalities and shit like that. But then in the next year, after 1999, when he was, I guess, promoted, he was vice president of football administration. So that's like guys dealing with football and shit like that. In 2001 to 2003, he worked for the Detroit Lions as the senior vice president of business operations and general counsel. That's kind of your ticky-tack thing. It's simple as that. In Minnesota, in 2005 to 2014, he's the executive vice president of legal affairs and chief administrative officer. Then in 2015 to 2019, he was the chief operating officer for the Minnesota Vikings. And then obviously from 2020 to we're currently right now, he was the Big Ten Conference commissioner. Some of it has some business stuff to it right there, but he does have some football background. He has worked in the NFL at a point in his life. He is somebody that's worked in the game of football. And there were some positions on this list I just read out that dealt with certain things like football, especially early in his Rams tenure. Yeah, later down the line, it was more business and shit like that, and especially being the Big Ten commissioner. But even then, you still have some knowledge, not only other sports, but you still have some knowledge of football right then and there. He did win a Super Bowl with the Rams. He was a Super Bowl champion with the Rams the year the Rams won it and everything. So, yeah. He was pretty integral in the Big Ten Conference. He was integral in getting USC and UCLA to go to the Big Ten Conference. I think the guys' qualifications, they're valued. They're verified. They're verified, certifications, accolades that he's had over his tenure working. Now, I don't know if this guy could be the right guy. Who knows if the Bears hire him? The one takeaway I actually find most interesting is the fact that this guy is a black man. He's an African American. And I know I don't want to bring race into this whole thing. And if you're going to roll your eyes, oh, he's bringing race, it's because you're black, aren't you? Cam315. Yes. But the one thing why I just feel like this is pretty big, if they hire this guy. Also, I forgot to make a mention. This guy also played a part in building US Bank Stadium, which is the current stadium for the Minnesota Vikings. What are the Bears trying to do? Build a new stadium. You hire this guy, he's already been through the process of a stadium being built, a new stadium being built. He did that. He was a part of the process in that. So if the Bears hire him, not only does he have some football experience, but he also has a background, to say, well, I can help with building a new stadium for your team. So guess what? All in all, that matches up. It's no wonder why reports are saying that, he's a top candidate for the McCaskies. He's worked for other previous, organizations in the division. He's worked for a team that's won a Super Bowl. He has experience in terms of football decisions, it looks like, based off the accolades he's got. And on top of it, he helped facilitate the building of the new stadium for the Minnesota Vikings at the time. Sounds like a pretty good guy to hire. Again, if they do hire him, the verdict will be out on what this guy could do. But the one thing I will say that gives me a little bit of hope if they do hire this guy is, well, just looking at his resume, he does have some football experience right there. He has dealt with what it looks like football decisions. Simple as that. Not just the business aspect, not just an accountant type of shit. Something like that. Now, again, going back to my point about the African American thing, the one thing that I find interesting is the Bears hire this guy. I'm guessing this guy will probably be the first team president in Chicago Bears history to be an African American. Like, literally, let's look at this. For Many people who think the Bears, and especially the McCaskies, are, I guess you could say, a racist organization, just think if they hire this guy to be the team president and the CEO. You would have a black CEO and team president of the Chicago Bears. Ryan Poles is a black man, and he is the GM. And Justin Fields is a quarterback. He's a black guy, too. Talk about diversity right there. Talk about diversity right there. That's putting minorities in a position of power and giving them an opportunity. Now, to be honest, I feel like if that happens, whatever, things about people saying the McCaskies don't like other people of other color and shit like that, that should be null and void, dead. If this Kevin Warren moves happens, if Kevin Warren accepts the position of being CEO and team president of the Chicago Bears, that should be dead. It's already dead, honestly, in my eyes, if you have a black GM and, and a black quarterback. Hell, Ian Cunningham, he's the assistant GM. He's black too. Again, I don't want to make this about race or anything, but I'm just saying that's pretty big for the Chicago Bears to go a route like that I wouldn't see. They're okay with the black quarterback. They're okay with the black GM and an assistant black GM. And if they're okay with getting a black CEO and team president, oh shit. Maybe they actually really are changing for the better. Not only as people, maybe of character, but maybe people of football terms. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. So I just wanted to bring that news out to you guys, to Bear fans and shit like that. So it's going to be a pretty influential hire if this happens. It's going to be very interesting to see. I don't know what the other candidates are the Bears have been interviewing, but hey, Kevin Warren seems like a qualified candidate. Obviously, like Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus, his tenure over his time with the Bears will have to be measured due to the accomplishments that the Bears produce on the field and how much say he has. But we'll see. But anyways, guys, I wanted to bring this news talking about Ted Phillips being retiring from the Chicago Bears, and the fact that Kevin Warren is the leading candidate so far to be the new Bears CEO and team president. Till then, guys, this has been Kevin 15. If you guys like the video, leave a like. Put in the comment section your thoughts on the news. How happy are you that Ted Phillips is finally gone? What are your thoughts on Kevin Warren? Do you think he's a qualified candidate? Do you think the Bears maybe should go target somebody else elsewhere? And things like that. As well as hit the subscribe button if you want to get more Kevin 15 Talk sports content on the channel. Till then, guys, stay safe out there and have a great rest of your day. Peace.